It started about 3.5 years ago. She would get sick, get a sore throat, and eventually pass out. Ultimately ended up in her progressively getting worse and worse to the point where she was no longer responding to the medication, and she would get sick, get a sore throat, and eventually ended up passing out and going comatose. They put her on something called erythromycin. Within 4 doses of the erythromycin, she was in the emergency room from severe abdominal pains, which have yet to go away. We put her in the hospital in June because her symptoms progressively got worse from her abdominal pain. Because she was unable to eat for 3 months, she lost 20 pounds, which required her to go in the hospital. They ended up giving her a PICC line, which she gets nutrition in, and she also gets hydration through as well. Unfortunately, her eating has still not been able to pick up, and she doesn't eat anything. She continues to struggle with the fact that this pain is so severe that she can't even drink water. She was a vibrant, young, beautiful young lady, very active in school, made the dean's list, very active in ballet and dance, active in many of the youth programs at church. She's an avid piano player, and she absolutely loves to bake. She's an incredible baker, makes incredible cookies and cakes, and even though in the midst of all of her sickness that she's been suffering from, she still continues to do that as a form of therapy to help her get well, knowing that someday she hopes to eat this food once again. But until then, we struggle with the fact that we're unable to diagnose exactly what's wrong with her. There's really been no diagnosis to figure out exactly what's wrong with her, and she's progressively just getting a little bit worse and worse. And unfortunately, we have not had any hope for help from any medical institution. And that's the reason for this video, is because we're hoping that people will reach this, they'll see it, they'll take into consideration everything that she's been through, and possibly add some insight or some direction on where we can go to get her healed.
I see Catherine is healthy and her strength renewed. Someday, if we can get someone to help her, someone that can just lead us in the right direction. She's had so many tests. At this point, we're kind of wondering, maybe could they do some different tests? If we could get her just to start eating. I believe food is good for the body, for the soul. It would help her. It's been 6 long months now for her, and she just needs help. So that's it. We're just looking for answers.
She's very frail, she's very fragile. She spends most of her time laying down in bed because she's so weak she doesn't have the energy to get up. She's gradually getting weaker and weaker and becomes more pale and ash because of her being so sedentary that she's unable to get up and move around. And it causes great concern for the fact that she's struggling with being able to do anything physical. It hurt her to even lay in bed. Her hips, her legs, her back all hurt. We'd go in to touch her to see how she was doing, and she would put her hand up, signing, "Please don't touch me," because just the touch, the softest touch, was so painful and so irritating that she couldn't stand it. After over 6 months of illness, pain, demeaning doctors, no food, no help, and no answers, it is finally taking a toll on me. I'm beginning to feel like Frodo when the One Ring starts to consume him. My heart and mind are being overwhelmed by shadow, and I can no longer see any light. All hope has fled and left me to despair. Sorrow has covered me like a heavy cloak, and I am trapped beneath its weight. I do not know what I'm fighting for anymore. As a parent, we're grieving and we're frightened over the future of our daughter and her health. We've seen many doctors with no diagnosis, and our fear is that she would give up with the will to live after reading a post like this. We're reaching out, hoping that somebody might be able to provide some kind of insight or direction in what we can do and how they can help. The most recent test we had done for Catherine was a HIDA scan, which revealed that her gallbladder was full of sludge. The doctor gave a 50-50 chance, saying that this could be the cause of her problem prohibiting her from eating without it causing her severe pain. The gallbladder was removed, and there were gallstones found inside the gallbladder as well. Now, the doctor indicated that there's people that live their whole lives with gallstones inside their gallbladder without any pain or any complications from that. We had hopeful expectations that this would have helped Catherine, but unfortunately, still almost 2 weeks after the surgery, she still suffers from the same symptoms of the pain being in the top of her stomach, which prohibits her from eating. So we're still searching, we're still seeking, hoping to find somebody that can provide us insight and direction on where we can go to get care for Catherine.